There we go. I didn't know if the blue light was working or not. Alright, I'm going to go and shoot some intros. Right. There we go. Excellent. Probably should have. Alright, do this. Sick. Hello, puppy. That went well. Got it done in first go. One. Ah, that's recording now. Really? We might do the intro here. Hey, how's it all going? Welcome back. So, in this episode, I'm hoping to get up to the Glasshouse Mountains in Queensland, Australia. It's on the eastern coast of Australia, down toward the bottom of Queensland. And if all goes according to plan, I'll be using the Hilux to pull this car trailer to pull this red cruiser that you can just see the edge of just there. Get it up there into the mountain bike tracks. So last night I managed to get this front TRX 4 diff operational again regarding being able to lock the diff or to run it open. I sneak in there and I pull that diff out and pull the portals off it and put those portals, which are just been rebuilt, onto that diff assembly there. I will then have a full four-wheel drive again that I can lock and unlock when needed. So for a little while now I've been running it with a 3.5 wheel drive. It sort of sucked because when you go to do a climb you just don't have the traction where you should do, and it sort of hasn't been as good a bunch of fun as it should have been. So get that one finished, then I can, like I said, use the Hilux, put the Candy Cruiser on the trailer and get up to the Glasshouse Mountains and have a bit of a look-see. Hoping to do that in the next couple of days, so this will all sort of come together. If you're watching this now, it'll seamlessly blend into hopefully the Glasshouse Mountains. In the meantime, I just want to show you a little bit about accessories. So obviously when you buy your four-wheel drive, you go down to the hobby shop or you order it online and it arrives, you get yourself basically, in most cases, unless it's a kit, you get yourself a four-wheel drive that's going. You just got to chuck batteries into it and everything basically is ready to go. But you can also upgrade, which is, in the real world, that's what happens with a lot of the serious four-wheel drive enthusiasts. They obviously beef up their suspension and beef up all those weak points, like axles. They're probably beefed up the axles. There's a lot of work would go into their engines to get them to be able to handle what they're doing. Then you've got all the accessories like winches, recovery gear, which we'll go into a little bit over here shortly with Hilux. But there's also odds and sods, like for example, I'm sure you've all seen the golden Hilux. That was the actual first build that I ever did. Now for example, so we got a bull bar, we got in behind there is a winch along the lines of a worn winch like that. A bit hard to see, but then we also got spotlights and lights up the top of all the gear. So we got the front bar, we got the rack on the back, which has also got other accessories that are on top. Also helps when it comes to a rollover, which unfortunately I have done a few times. It certainly probably would save a lot of clunking. Would roll easier with the cage on it. However, one thing it doesn't have is the rock sliders. However, very soon we're going to have, I don't know how well you can see that, but I will highlight all this after. So we'll be fitting up a set of rock sliders. This is like a real four-wheel drive, so driving across, you'll be surprised how much difference it makes having a set of rock sliders. When it comes to like front ends, on some competition rigs, they have this sort of a shape. This sort of a shape on your front, rather than your bull bar, is got that V. Now my belief is that if in the event of a forward rollover, if you're going down and you're about to tip over, that V will make it tip one way or the other way and not land on your roof. So in the real deal, when you're actually inside the cabin, the last thing you would want to do would be to tip the truck over and land hard on your roof, roll bars or not. So this, I believe, those angles is to allow it to, as it goes to tip, to go either of those ways and actually tip you onto your side. So I think that's the reason of that design. An original Traxxas, slightly modified front bumper, just a plastic one, just with the edges sort of cut off. It just allows for better approach clearance. You don't have that section you see on the Hilux up the back up there. Once again, worn winch sort of mounted on the front of it, like they do. Yeah, it just basically depends. You've seen the little custom nudge bar that I've got on the Cruiser here. So when it comes to winches, we'll have a look at a few of the different types of winches shortly. There's other things, like for example, if you wanted to get into canoes, you might want to have one of your four-wheel drive set up to be a weekend away four-wheel drive, where you might have camping gear, swags, Waco fridges, and for example BMX bikes. This one is a homemade Waco. You can even get little ice cubes and little drink bottles. They can get them all 3D printed. You can end up with this one's just homemade, but you can get it 3D printed. You can get them made. You can buy them from your hobby shop as well. Now, on the subject of winches, you can see that I've got a couple of different styles here. A couple of barrel ones. They're like an impressive looking winch. And you can have these either mounted tucked away, or you can have them open and exposed. It sort of doesn't matter. I actually like the look of the openness without all the casting, like the worn winch. They're sort of like a really, really interesting looking winch. I've got one of them on the Candy Cruiser. Now I've seen these worn winches. I've seen them black and I've seen them red, but I've never seen them green. Like, obviously you could paint these any colour you wanted, but that one hasn't got the plate on the front there. It's been utilised somewhere else, but yeah, that's a green coloured winch. It actually went well with another truck, that's why I bought that one. Another upgradable part is your tail shafts that go from your transfer case all the way through down to your diff to drive your diffs. So these ones here, I'm not too sure of the brand of them, but they're all steel. All have like the proper sort of bearing universal setups in there. You'll have your standard one. This is a part standard one. It's got the plastic centre with the spline, with the metal drive ends. This one here is another one. Open it up and you can actually see get it away from the camera, you can actually see the drive spline there. So that allows it to move back and forward as the suspension goes up and down. Usually in most cases with a four-wheel drive that you get, normally I think basically most things are plastic. And that's fine, they work quite well. The actual Traxxas TRX4, not that I'm spooking any brand or anything, but I've found that the Traxxas TRX4 drive lines, as well as their shock absorbers, are quite good quality. On the subject of shock absorbers, there's many different types. That you get your original standard shock. For example, I spoke earlier just before about a Traxxas. So that there is the standard TRX4 shock absorber, and they're a really good shock. These ones here were the original ones that come off the 41 Willys Jeep. but a lot of these things can be utilised elsewhere. It's just a funky little set, really smooth operating. These are coilovers. Then you got the internal sprung. You got your Desert Lizards. You got Prices. I'm not too sure of the brand, but they're very similar to Prices. If you know someone where you can find online, you can even get number plates printed. So I've got a narrow and a thick there. Thick will go on the back of the trailer, and the narrow will go on the Hilux on the front on the bull bar. Now, as I showed before, in regards to these winches, these aren't just showpiece, these actually work. So with that, you'll need a receiver. You'll see one receiver there. You'll see another style of receiver in that bag there. And you'll see this one here, that's worn, complete with dog hair. That's a worn remote control. Forward and back. We can have this style here. Slide the panel down, and you've got in and out. Depending on what you want to do, keep it locked so you don't accidentally activate them. But yeah, so you'll have, when you press your signal from your controller, that'll go through to your receiver, and then we'll then go and power your winch, depending on which way you want to go, in or out. And you'll be surprised when we get up the Glasshouse Mountains, you'll definitely see this Hilux with using this winch that's hidden away in there. You can't really see it, but because it's quite a heavy truck, yeah, sometimes it needs a hand getting up. I don't like to run the risk of tipping it over because there's just so much gear in the back, but we'll cover that shortly. And the accessories really are unlimited. It's only your imagination that would limit what you could do with your crawler, whether it's a recovery sort of a setup, or whether you have a weekend away setup, or whether you've got a serious, I'm going to go and climb some shit kind of truck. We have max tracks and high lift jacks. We have things like little oil bottles. And on one occasion, one of the trucks that I built for a project, they'd even gone to the trouble of 3D printing a little crawler, had that sitting on the seat. So whoever you were that 3D printed this little truck, I bloody love it. Yeah, but you're only limited by your imagination as to what you can put in your truck for an accessory. Now, as you've seen with the Hilux before, we've got a recovery box in the back that will go through. We've got a few things. We've got a rock anchor down the side down there. We've got a high lift jack in the back, got a chainsaw, got a couple of oil bottles, jerry can and a swag, and we'll get into that recovery box in the back there. We've got max tracks, we've got an axe, we've got a shovel, we got another swag there. There's the mat. Put your swag down on. And yeah, once again, your imagination is the only thing that'll hold you back. The troopy build that I have had for quite some time, but all I've done was just worked on the inside, cleaned the inside up, and got the inside ready. I got a new set of chassis rails to go there, but an interesting part I picked up was that rear tyre rack that swings out. Be able to mount that onto the back. Little accessories like that, allowing you to mount your back tyre, just increases the look value. It makes it pleasing to the eye. G'day everyone, RC Fourbieman, and I'm out here at the Glasshouse Mountains. I'm up at a spot called Hennessy Downhill Mountain Bike Track. It's an area up in the Glasshouse Mountains. It's pardon the way from the main road, Bruce Highway, inland heading toward a town called Woodford. It's like a bridge road, half bitumen, half dirt. But this is the Glasshouse Mountains area, so we'll have a bit of a look-see and see what we've got around, and see whether this might be an interesting thing to have a whack at. So, this is apparently the start, and it goes down that direction. We'll go and have a bit of an explore, and we'll check it out and see what's down that way. There's little roads that run off everywhere in this spot, but first things first, Another little track going through there. I'm going to explore all of these. But first things first, we'll go down and we'll have a look at a little hill climb down there. Now, I don't know how good the camera does showing that, but that is going to be sick. Let's give it a try. Well, that was the easy bit. Now we'll see how we go going. Fuck off. Jeez. Fuck. Paths like the views are endless. Go! You gotta hate that. Well, tip the bloody thing over again. It's always a shambles because it makes such a mess. But this was just a bit of an exploratory journey, basically to come up and check this area out, which for what I can see is going to be a bloody good opportunity for a gathering up here. I think it should be quite entertaining. You get a bit of a trail run as well as a bit of a muck around on some heavy duty stuff. I like it. Yep, Glasshouse Mountains. We'll definitely have a gathering in the future here. Plenty of parking and plenty of playgroup, and I still haven't got down that track, but I will do that next time. So there you go. Up in the Glasshouse Mountains area, and along this road there is just numerous little roads that shoot off, and I'm quite sure each and every one of them would go to an awesome little spot. Now this area of road that I'm on here, this is that one that goes through to Woodford. You can see it's quite a popular spot for the motorcycle riders. You see there's a bunch of them. And like I was saying before about all these different trucks and paths leading off, I just pulled up here just to have a look at this area here, for example. With the 110 trucks, even the 124s. You can certainly get a lot of fun in a small area. You can see here, just this area here, a bit of terrain, bit of hill climb stuff. And there's another path that goes off down into wherever, which I'm sure there'd be plenty of things to be able to muck around with. So this really looks like an interesting place to come have a look and check out. A couple of the bike fellas back. We'll definitely have to explore this area, guys. Explore it more and see what's here. So just having a chat to a couple of motorbike riders that pulled up, and yeah, there's some unbelievable spots around here. Apparently most of these parts you go down there, it's adventure plus, so yep, we're definitely going to have to explore more. And one of the fellas that I was just chatting to, about probably would have been 200 meters further from where I was, there's another huge section which apparently is going to be awesome as well, so we'll definitely give that a try next time round. But we've had a look at the Glasshouse Mountains area and it's looking very promising. For sure. Everyone made it to the top, Glasshouse Mountains. Let's have a look at the view. Very windy. There's a map here of the different mountains and the different areas, and you can pick up where Caloundra is. You probably might not be able to get to see it, but we'll have a go. Let's check this out. Just beautiful. All right, well there you go, made it to the top, Glasshouse Mountains. Out the back we got the view. Well, back home now. Got to fix up the carnage that I've got in the back of my Hilux at the moment. But that's alright, because it's going to give me the opportunity to show you what I carry on board anyway, so let's check it out. Alright, before I put everything back in the Hilux and put it all where it's supposed to go, this at least has been one thing. It'll give you a bit of an idea of what I carry in the Hilux. It's my recovery vehicle, so let's check it out. Right, on the front here, accessory wise, we've got the red worn winch in the back there behind the lights. See him there. We've got the spotlights. We've got a attachment point there for towing. We've got another tow hook just there. We've got a chain which is just sort of left on the front, adds a bit of weight on the front, but ready to go if someone needs it. That's what's happening on the front. In the back on the far side, you've got a jerry can. We got this box, which is like this recovery box, but this one here, it actually covers up the rear suspension. Rather than have a gaping hole, I've got it hidden behind the box. We've got the jerry can on the far side. Up the top here, we've got a swag. On the far side there, we've got max tracks, an axe, and a shovel. I'll come down here and focus in on what we've got here. So I've got a recovery box. That's where I put my recovery gear, which you'll see here. Got a tow chain. Got these two chains I use with my trailer to tie down any trucks that I'm pulling. Got a rock anchor in case I need to winch, have an anchor point. Got a couple of D shackles there. Got this little unit there, which is like a pulley. You can run a pulley lead. Like you can run your tow lead through it so you can change directions. You see a chainsaw there, remote control for the winch. You see the swag up on top, you'll see there's the bedroll. Got a working high lift jack on there, got a fire extinguisher, got an injector cleaner. There's a couple of these little bottles, diesel oil, motor oil, coolant, and all of that recovery gear. Just take the lid off that. And that all fits into this little box here. You'll see there I've got a snatch'em strap in there as well. So all of this little gear down here, I've got to pack back into that box. That's why every time I tip the bloody thing over, it's a pain in the butt, because I've not only got to pick it all up, but I've got to put it all back where it goes. Anyway, that's the fun we do. Oh, and I've also, just on the rear there, I've got another little leather tow rope, should I ever need it. That's just there purely just for looks, basically. So anyway, that's what's in my Hilux, normally packed away. So we made it to the Glasshouse. We've got to check it out. There's some really good spots up there, so I can see us having a gathering there soon, at least a bit of a trail run with a couple of mates. Definitely get up to that spot, and like I said, on the way back there's just roads shooting off left, right and centre, so there's quite a lot there. We'll look for that in the coming episodes, because I'm definitely going to be organising something to happen out there. Alright, well I'm going to get in and pack all this stuff away back in the Hilux and go and put it in up on blocks so I don't get flat spots. But while I've got you, as I usually say, if you're having a bit of a difficult time with things, whether it's depression or anxiety, or you know someone that's suffering from anxiety or depression, don't be afraid to ask for a bit of a chin wag with someone, or don't forget to ask your mate or your family member if they're okay. It'll probably mean the world to them if they're in a position where they're probably feeling depressed or anxious. Having a friend ask, hey, are you okay? You know, you see it a lot on telly, you hear a lot of it on radio and on billboards. That's the world we live in. Thankfully, the world, in some aspects, we can only hope for a bit more caring. So don't forget, if you're having a difficult time, but just sing out. There's plenty of organisations out there too that'll help. Alright, I'm going to put all this away. Thanks for joining me on this episode. It was good to finally get up to the Glasshouse Mountains and check the area out. Look forward in future episodes. We're definitely going to get up there and we'll get a bit of a trail run, a bit of a gathering, and I'm quite sure if we get a few friends up there with their trucks, especially some of the crazy buggers, we might have some heavy duty footage. Alright, until next time, love you guys, stay cool, happy crawling, and I'll see you next episode. go.